for opening their eyes, and I'm proud for it.
I woke up to the truth.
It took me into the age of 25 to wake up.
I am inspired.
This is my coming out.
I'm frustrated as a black woman that I have to continue to be black.
I walked away from the Democratic plantation.
We have left the Democratic plantation.
Democratic
Plantation.
This information needs to get out.
Pay attention. They're lying to us.
I was coached from birth that the Democratic Party was the only party that provided for and did anything for blacks.
I was brought up Democrat, raised in a Democrat family by Democrat parents.
My family was always Democrats.
All of my family were hardcore Democrats.
I was heavily in the Democratic Party and helping out Democrats.
Lifelong Democrats, always just blue for the sake of being blue.
When I grew up, I was told by everyone around me that I was to be a proud Democrat.
For years and years and years, people have told us that we should vote Democrat.
It's a generational thing.
Much of what happens to blacks regarding the implanting of their worldview takes place early on in life, in the home, at church, and in the community.
No. Not God bless America. God damn America.
Black folk traditionally vote Democratic because they just do. Their parents are, their neighborhoods are, and they're Democrats by default.
All I knew was Democrats.
I grew up with my mother, and she's a Democrat.
We would just pull the lever for, straight Democrat ticket.
I always voted Democrat because that's what my mom was.
For most of our lives, blacks are taught to be loyal to each other based on skin color and not the truth.
We voted.
I have systematically continued to vote for the Democratic Party just because my grandmother told me to, just because I'm black.
I was even told that when I became eligible to vote, that I had better vote Democratic or not come home.
Did as I was told.
I was a Democrat and let people tell me what to think.
To be honest, until now, I don't even know why I would even say I was a Democrat.
I didn't really do research or learn really what each party stood for.
I had no clue about politics.
I did not do my research.
I didn't even know the difference between the Democrat and the Republican Party.
Because I didn't take the time, nor did I have the interest to really know who and what I was going to go vote for.
We were taught that Republicans were evil.
The Republicans are racist.
I really didn't know. I just felt that way because I was told to feel that way.
That the Republicans don't care about black people.
And year after year, this was pounded into my head by friends and family.
Always talked down about Republicans and the right side, and so I grew up doing that.
I didn't know any better.
I have been part of the problem.
You're basically led to believe that the Democratic Party is the party for you.
They always taught me about the Democrats. They're for the people.
They're going to be the ones that stand up for injustice and all this other stuff.
That Democrats are for the poor blacks and that Republicans are for the rich white people.
That the Republicans are somehow anti-African American agenda, African American expansion, prosperity.
They're there for us. They're the ones that care about the inner city. They care about the minority.
I was just taught in grade school that Democrats cared about the people, the poor and unfortunate, and that Republicans cared about the rich and wealthy. That's all I was told.
It has all been a lie.
When Obama was elected, I recall becoming very emotional.
I voted for Barack Obama.
I voted for Obama, and I thought that I made a good decision.
First very true person, African American, that is going to change the world and give us hope and change, and I fell into all of that.
I just went along because he was a Democrat.
What did he do for black people? Nothing. He did nothing.
He didn't do anything for us. He really didn't do much for the black community, and I always said that.
He manipulated situations and talked real savvy and real smooth, and he won the hearts and minds of people.
All these people are going to get all this insurance, and all these people are going to get all this free stuff through all these other, government assistance programs.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan.
For about 15 million Americans who have individual health insurance, that's not true.
His policies were hidden corruption.
And we gotta be honest, Barack Obama lied from the time he came in office to the time he left out.
I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that. I'm pledging to cut the deficit.
The debt ceiling, that's a formality.
You will not see your taxes increased a single dime.
They're lying to us. Stop voting. Stop believing everything Obama is saying.
Because a lot of things that he said he was for, he ended up lying.
The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally.
That a lot of black people turned their back on God when this man got into office.
We are supposed to be one nation under God.
Well, government's the only thing that we all belong to.
I said I knew this guy was no good.
You got Obama up here telling people that they need to put their faith in the Democratic candidate.
Where's your faith?
So that they continue raping us of our taxes.
Is it in God? Or is it in the government?
Obamacare screwed up.
To pay for illegal immigrants.
Socialist leanings.
To open our borders to keep us unsafe.
He funded our terrorism.
To continue to talk about the plight of people's identity.
Anti-Christian.
A manipulator.
To keep us divided. To make us hate the white man.
He fomented a lot of this racial tension.
When people threaten us, when people threaten the cops, they threaten to kill the cops. He said, we need to understand these people's frustration. How the hell does a president say that?
This guy has really destroyed the country.
Inspired by rules for radicals. That's what he lived by.
Oh my God, man. I can't wait till this guy gets out of office.
They could tell me that Barack is coming back. Okay, I really don't care.
I did a lot of research. I started to look into the history of the Democratic Party.
And then I just started digging deeper.
I started learning the history of the party.
I started paying attention, really learning history.
Based on my research, I believe that Democrats have historically hated black people. And I think they still hate black people today.
I didn't really know the true history or the true story.
There has been a huge effort to hide the true history of the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party has always been the party of slavery.
All of the races in the South were Democrats.
They were the white supremacists.
These are the people who wanted slavery.
And I just started seeing the ugly, dark history of the Democratic Party, slavery,
KKK,
Jim Crow,
Jim Crow,
Planned Parenthood,
the Ku Klux Klan.
The Ku Klux Klan came from Democrats.
The Ku Klux Klan definitely murdered, slaughtered, intimidated, and damaged the lives of so many black people.
These are the true racists.
I grew up believing that the Ku Klux Klan was probably Republicans.
I was duped.
Because the Republicans are racist, right?
They cause a division between the races. And I see the primary ones behind that has been the Democratic Party.
The white man is going to keep you down. You know, it's always that mentality.
They are the ones that did not want black people to vote.
Fighting and contending against every civil rights bill.
All the segregation laws. They voted against all of civil rights legislation.
Segregation laws.
It was the Democrats, the Dem-O-K-K-K rats, who were trying to keep all that stuff going.
Not one person can deny that. Those are facts.
The myth that the party switched.
There was a big switch, and I come to find out that was just a complete and total fabrication. It wasn't true.
Go research it yourself.
And the fact that I was taught that in school, knowing that the facts are out there, that the parties never switched, it just pisses me off.
Robert E. Lee and his wife were huge slavery abolishment activists. You won't learn that in the history books in school today.
They're not going to tell you that in school. They're not going to tell you that in your books.
The Republican Party supported freeing the slaves, making them citizens, allowing them to vote. The Democratic Party was against it.
When I found out who Margaret Sanger was.
Margaret Sanger.
Who Planned Parenthood, who they really were.
Margaret Sanger, who started Planned Parenthood, did her first speech at a Ku Klux Klan rally.
Do you believe there is such a thing as sin?
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world.
And what their agenda was.
She talked about eugenics and how black people need to be controlled by weeds.
We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
Where is these Planned Parenthoods located? In the hood. Who has the most abortions per capita in the country? Black people. They don't want you to live, they want you to die.
It is a sick thing.
These are all facts that you guys can look up.
Do your own research. Really look into the history of the Democratic Party, because they are not who they're portraying themselves to be.
Eugenics in America was used to, try to exterminate the black race.
And I realized that it was Republicans who pushed through the Civil Rights Act.
The first black politician ever was Republican.
The NAACP was created by Republicans.
So I learned that it was Republicans who were trying to abolish slavery.
It just seemed right to me to become Republican. There's no vitriol or hate over here. There's no racism or racist people over here that I have personally came up against.
I'm 1,000% free. I'm not walking around thinking that the white man is holding me down.
Martin Luther King was a Republican.
No, the white man is that bad. No, the white man's not that bad.
FYI, it took white people to help free the slaves.
The Republicans have had their fingerprints all over everything having to do with freedom. They've always been the party of freedom.
The Democratic Party historically has hated black people.
Liberals are some of the most racist people you'll ever meet.
And you could be racist towards me today, you'll be working for me tomorrow.
I'm just telling the truth, and if you disagree with me, you could literally go look this stuff up for yourself and fact check me.
You know, Chicago is one of the most corrupt cities in the United States.
And it's all directly linked to liberal policies.
And most of them had Democratic mayors since like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s.
All of the major cities, you know, Detroit and all these cities in Chicago, all these cities that are ran down, Baltimore, all these are all democratically ran cities.
In cities like Chicago, it's a Democratic stronghold.
You have your Democratic mayor, your poverty pimp, your Maxine Waters. These are the gatekeepers. These are the plantation owners.
We voted for Democrats for generations.
What did Barack Obama do for Chicago? Nothing.
There ain't nothing improving in the minority community.
They don't seem to have a care of actually lifting minorities or anyone out of poverty.
Our communities have been broken down for decades.
Go to any mostly black Democrat-run city. They're shithole cities. I mean, let's call it what it is.
A cesspool of corruption and backroom deals.
You can see direct correlations between a lot of the stuff that the Soviets with the propaganda and the Nazis are doing within the Democratic Party.
These cities have all the elements of a modern-day slave plantation.
They have perpetuated policies that have kept communities of color in perpetual cycles of poverty. We don't vote Republican in the hood.
You could say systematic oppression.
To me, it's almost like a brand of social engineering at its best.
You're the victim. Vote for me. I'll make sure you have food stamps. We're going to get you reparations. People eat that up, man.
They get up and they come to our churches and they make all these promises, and then you find out a year later that this politician is just as corrupt as the rest of them.
Lying to them and keep making them feel like that they're victims of a false narrative.
They come out, get your vote every 4 years or every 2 years, and they talk about what they're going to give you.
Give them the resources that they need to lift them up out of poverty.
The Democratic Party aren't going to get people out of that situation by feeding them food stamps, by telling them that the cops are against them, by telling them that they're facing some type of mysterious oppression when they're not.
Why am I associated with a party that is not really helping out the black community at all?
You have your handouts, which is pretty much just like Master giving out the scraps, giving out food. Master's taking good care of you.
Stop wanting something for free. The minute you get something for free, they own you. Is that what you want?
When Donald Trump was first elected, I was just like everybody else around me.
President Trump. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for him, okay?
Talking shit.
They told me Donald Trump was a fascist.
Couldn't stand Trump. They want to put us back on the ships to Africa.
Oh, he's a racist, or oh, he's this and that.
Republicans want to take away your freedom.
Using the Nazi playbook. I've heard it all.
Want to take away your handouts, your programs, your housing, your food.
I was saying that it was going to be a nuclear war.
I have conversations with people all the time about President Trump. They go, oh, he's a racist. I say, well, name something that President Trump has done negatively against you.
He's going to decimate the black race and send us back to Africa.
He was going to round up the blacks and the minorities, throw us all in a concentration camp.
I thought that all Trump supporters were racist and were going to be flying the Dixie flags on their big monster trucks.
Oh, the whole immigration thing is all about just trying to get black people out of here and blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yada. It's ridiculous.
I always thought he was bad until I started listening to him. I thought he was racist. Everything that the Democrats try to tell you.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted.
And when I watched that first debate, I'm like, oh, wait, this is not the man that they've been showing me.
I was searching for truth, and I wanted to know who Donald Trump was for real. I didn't want the media telling me who he was. I wanted to know for myself.
You want to go back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Trump. You're a woman in America. What has negatively affected you in America?
Why are you going to a Trump rally? You know there's going to be nothing but racist white supremacists there. And you're black and you're by yourself?
President-elect Donald Trump. And when I saw that, I flipped out.
The lunacy of the people on the news, I mean, they were going so crazy over Donald Trump.
You say the name Trump, they're having a panic attack, a whole meltdown.
People were asking for transparency from Donald Trump, but not requiring that from Hillary Clinton. I started seeing the double standards and the hypocrisy.
I called my sister and I said, hey, if I disappear into thin air, it's because I went to a Trump rally.
A lot of people aren't actually paying attention to, the positive aspects of this presidency and what he's doing.
Y'all want to talk about Trump, but guess what Trump is doing? He's creating jobs.
Black unemployment is down. I know people that couldn't get a job. They have great jobs now in the black community.
I love that he doesn't do identity politics.
CNN will never show how there's an African American woman, a Caucasian man, and an Asian man walking to a Trump rally.
What has he done negative against black people in America? Give you more money back on your taxes?
And I started to look into Trump's policies.
And then Donald Trump is running for president, and then he says all this stuff.
He was speaking about saving us.
Limited government, smaller government.
Strong borders.
I'm with him. He's talking about securing the border, putting a wall there. Wow, I never thought about that, but that is a damn good idea. Yeah.
More personal freedom.
Free and open market.
The trade deals are very promising.
Capitalism.
Tax cuts.
Cut our taxes.
Freedom of speech.
He's producing results.
I want the Second Amendment to be protected. He was speaking about bettering us. I don't want the government involved in my health care.
We need somebody that's going to stand up and is going to say enough is enough. We're not going to be divided racially anymore. We're going to be one nation, and we're going to focus on our nation first.
I said, amen, brother. Oh my God. It's literally like looking through a mirror. He's saying every single thing I've been saying all this time.
If you want what you want, you gotta work smart. But the Democrats, they want you to work hard and not even prosper.
Trump actually is not the enemy.
You need to give Donald Trump a chance.
I actually agree with them with the majority of these policies.
He asked you to come to the table and let's talk about policy. Let's talk about prison reform. But then you fake leaders don't want to go talk to him.
I saw women for Trump. I saw gays for Trump.
You work hard, and to become successful.
I saw Hispanic for Trump. I saw blacks for Trump.
I want everybody to know, yes, that we stand behind Donald J. Trump. Yes, we do, baby.
Donald Trump is a man that wants America to be rich.
And everybody was laughing and talking and joking, and you could feel the American energy. And I looked around and I was like, wow.
Whether you're black, white, brown, Asian, Hispanic, Latin, whatever we want to call ourselves, we're all Americans first.
It doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, any of that. It doesn't matter.
I don't care Jew, Gentile, black, or white. It don't matter.
All of his campaign promises, he's keeping it.
Trump supporters, especially among African Americans and Latinos, is growing at record numbers, y'all.
This is what America is. This is what America should be. Everybody coming together. Everybody loving one another.
America has never seen such a promising future, and yet it gets stepped on, it gets squashed every day by the media. Why?
To try and disparage Trump, try and disparage anybody from even supporting Trump.
Why?
And one thing in particular, they kept trying to say that, he was a racist. But I can recall, the NAACP giving him a reward.
Nobody want to talk about 1998 when President Trump was given an award for his contribution to the minority community.
Multiple awards for actually providing jobs in the black community.
He was honored alongside Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali.
I can remember him sponsoring a lot of black athletes.
Donald Trump fought to desegregate the country clubs.
Sponsoring black events.
What is he doing negative against black people? He turned around, HBCU signed an executive order, giving them $1 billion.
One thing I have no doubt about that. Number one, he loved this country. Number two, he only cares about Americans and putting Americans first. I don't see how anybody can get anything racist from that.
And at the end of the day, there just seems to be nothing to substantiate the claims of any type of racism.
I love this guy right here.
America first, right? We're here.
Back in the day, he was our favorite guy.
I thought about all those things and I said, you know what, man, I'm voting Trump. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who's against it. I don't care who wants to call me anything they want to call me.
And that's when the madness began.
No.
Dumb stuff.
You can kick rocks with that philosophy right there.
No more.
You have to do your damn research.
Wake up.
You need to start opening your eyes like I did.
Realize that we have been manipulated.
Do your research.
Use common sense.
Investigating for myself.
It's time for us to wake up, man.
Look at what they're voting for.
Use facts instead of what they see on TV and CNN.
Things changed for me.
I challenge anybody who's watching this who disagree with me, come up with facts, not emotions.